Hi, good evening, everyone. So, this brings us to the discussion of fundamentals of project management. So, if you see, in project management, we have a thing called life cycle. Now, uh, there are multiple ways in which the life cycle of project management can be described, and there are many platforms or organizations who have defined the life cycle of project management as per their guidelines or as per their nomenclature. One of them is PMI, which is Project Management Institute, USA. Another one such organization is APM, which is Association of Project Management. Third such organization is PRINCE, numeric 2, wherein PR stands for projects, IN stands for in, and C stands for controlled, and E stands for environment. So now let's discuss about the one of the we will I will focus on one of the nomenclature which is given by PMI, PMI USA, and it is the flagship uh, setup or an organization or a community for project management. And also, if you see these all other platforms like PMI, Prince2, APM, they are complementary to each other and they are not contradictory at all. So if you understand the life cycle, or if you understand the way of project management by any one organization, you will find close resemblance or close similarity with the other frameworks given by other platforms. So our main focus would be PMI USA. So the framework given by them is the life cycle is looks like this. The first phase is initiation. Second phase is just a second. Let me move it a little. Yeah, this is better. Second phase is planning. Third phase is execution phase. Fourth is monitoring, and controlling, and fifth is closure. So first you start with initiation, you move into planning phase. Planning, from planning you are moving to execution, wherein execution is done by your team members. Then similarly you go from here. While execution is done by your team members, your job here is to monitor the project deliverables are being executed as per the planning done as per the planning phase. And if not, if they are ahead or if they are behind, mostly projects fall behind the schedule and they do end up doing cost overrun. Your job is to do controlling. And after that, at the end, comes closure. In closure, you are giving the documents or the deliverables to customer as per the agreement. As per the agreement, they will give you the extremely important. They will give you the closure. Okay, this closure okay is very important, and mostly it will be given to you as a PM by the customer. Customer give okay to PM, and then PM can say that the project is formally closed and can start the billing. So a quick revision, if you say what I have described is the the first is just a second. The first is the first is initiation phase. That's when you start as a PM. Then comes planning phase, where you are doing planning. After that comes the execution phase, where execution is done by team members. Your whole job here as a PM would be doing the monitoring of that everything is done as per this planning phase. Plus, if something is going haywire, your job is to control it, which is known as controlling. And after that comes closure and then initiation phase again. So this is in nutshell is the life cycle of project management. Now another important thing is, as a project manager, your job is to manage constraints. What are constraints? Constraints are the artifacts which affect your project. First of the first constraint is scope. how much how much you have to develop, how much what kind of building that you have to set up, what kind of software that you have to develop, what kind of electrical fiber or optical fiber you have to develop. So scope is about what you have to deliver. Both in scope, what you have to deliver, that is within scope, plus extremely important to include out of scope. Example, example. I am working for a real estate project. Now, when this house is getting delivered, whether it should have whether it should have what it should have, for example, the bathroom fittings are in scope, but let's say your furniture, washing machines, dishwasher are all not included, which means out of scope. So when you are delivering a project, the first thing that you have is one of the artifacts is scope. It is very important that you describe this scope in detail so that you know what you are going to deliver, and you also know what is not required in the deliverables. So I will quickly go back and explain the various artifacts. Let's take this one. Okay, the first is scope, time, also known as schedule, cost, quality, resource, communication, procurement, stakeholder, scope, time, cost, quality, resource, communication, procurement, stakeholder, scope, time, cost, quality, resource, communication, procurement, stakeholder, risk, and 10th is integration. Your job as a project manager is to take care of these constraints in life cycle of initiating, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and closure. So I'll repeat it again. You have this life cycle. initiating, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and closure. And this life cycle, in each phase, you have to take care of these constraints. These are constraints. Now, the better you manage these constraints in each phase of the life cycle, the better control you have on the project, and the better you can say you have confidence about this project. Now, let's discuss each one of the constraints one by one. Scope, as I have explained. First is scope, which is what you are going to deliver. What is in scope? It, it should also have what is out of scope, so that there is complete clarity about what is in scope and what the customer should not accept as the deliverables, which is out of scope, to avoid any ambiguities or confusion. Because at the end, you have to take a formal closure from the customer based on the deliverables. Now the second constraint is time or schedule. It is extremely important that your project should be done on time. On time, because excess of time will be will bring you more cost. As and when the time will increase, the cost will also increase, because the value of money is always the time value of money is always variable. Let's remove this. Time value of money. What is time value of money? The value of 1 lakh rupees now will not be same as value of 1 lakh rupees after 5 years. This is known as time value of money. Third is cost. The project has to be completed within budget. Extremely important. Quality. The set quality which was defined in scope your deliverables should meet the quality standards. I, as a customer, I will not accept just a house done but the quality has been compromised. Quality here it is mentioned as separately, but quality factors, the quality factors and features are already described in scope. So let's say you are completing the scope, but it has to be in alignment with the quality standards. Scope, time, cost, quality. Then comes your fifth is risk. RISK. What is risk? Anything which can affect your project positively or negatively is known as risk. As a project manager, your job is to your job is to maximize positive risk and minimize negative risk. Positive risk is known as opportunity, and negative risk is known as threat. So, as a project manager, your whole agenda should be to plan well. Planning means anticipating and forecasting. And while anticipating and forecasting, you will come across scenarios. Those scenarios are either positive or negative. Positive, you have to maximize. Negative, you have to minimize. Positive is opportunity. Negative is threat. Example, let's take an example of, let's say you have one activity A scheduled after 5 days, which is about coding. And what you do, you deploy your one of the best resource for this activity. It is maximizing the opportunity because you have an important coding day and you knew that your this resource is extremely good at this part of coding. Let's schedule him schedule his you know shift on this day of coding. This is opportunity. Threat, example of threat, would be you got to know that you have an activity A scheduled after 5 days, and someone who is allocated for that resource for that activity has fallen sick or is on leave. This is threat. How will you mitigate that? You will hire, you will call someone else, you will give this activity to someone else, or you can postpone this activity until this resource comes back. So this is an opportunity. This is an example of uh, opportunity and threat. So scope is done, time I have explained, cost I have explained, quality done, risk I have completed. Scope, time, cost, quality. Let's discuss resource. Resources, you have hardware like man, machine, material. Man is your human resource, machine is your JCB, laptop, uh, router, switch, etc. And then comes material. So these are all your resources. You have to manage your resources well. After that comes scope, time, cost, quality, resource, risk, communication. Your one of the tasks as a project manager is to have proper communication up, down, horizontal. In up comes program program manager, portfolio portfolio manager. In ups comes your program manager or portfolio manager or some senior management. In top and down you have your team member. In down you have your subordinates. Here comes your team member. This is communication. Communication is of push type, wherein you push reports, weekly updates, monthly updates. In pull type communication, you place everything in a dashboard, and the team can pull the report from this dashboard. This is pull type. So 80%, 80 to 85 or 85 to 90, I think, your work is communication and communicating well. This is about communication. Let's go further. How much we have covered? We have covered scope, done, time, done, cost, quality, resource, communication, risk, procurement. The bigger the project, procurement would be of procurement would become more complex. You have devices, you have machines, you have other third party vendors who will come and give you their services in your project. For them, you need to release contracts. Creating contracts and their release is a specialized skill. Fixed cost, like for example, fixed cost, time and material, T&M, variable cost, and other lot of mixtures. So these are type of contracts in a nutshell. We can have a session on this later. So as a project manager, or as a procurement manager, your job is to take care of these contracts. And as I said, the bigger the project, the more number of third party or vendors you have, the complex it becomes. So it is it's a specialized skill if it is a high level big complex project. Scope done, time done. Let's have a quick revision. Scope, time, cost, quality, risk, pro- scope, time, cost, quality, resource, communication, risk, procurement, and after that comes stakeholder and integration. Who is a stakeholder? Let's change the pen. Stakeholder is anyone who who can affect your project, anyone who has an interest or can affect your project positively or negatively, or is getting affected by the project positively or negatively. Anyone who has an interest in your project or can affect the project positively or negatively, or can get affected by the deliverables of the project positively or negatively is stakeholder. Important, extremely important to manage your stakeholders well. Example, now stakeholder is a big what do you call it, it's a big term. Stakeholders can be, let's use this, a stakeholder can be internal majorly or external. Internal is your team member, your management, your vendors, your third party, External could be your customer, government, government bodies, regulatory bodies, NGOs. They are all known as, could be, could fall into the category of external stakeholders. As a project manager, your job is to manage your stakeholders well. It's extremely important, and the better you manage your stakeholders, the safer your project is. Also, one more thing, while scope is fixed, you can freeze it. Scope is fixed and freezed. Time is fixed and freezed. Cost is also fixed and freezed. Quality, you can also, same, fixed and freezed. Stakeholder is a live 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 document. I have deliberately repeated it thrice. Live, live, live. Why? Because they are people, and with people have emotions, they have interest, they have emotions, they have interest, they are live. So stakeholder is a live 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 document. Red flag. Okay, I'm writing red flag by green color just to understand. If you started working on a project, and the first time you created a stakeholder register and you just kept it like that, it is a red flag and a big no. You should always reflect back your stakeholder register with a regular interval of time. You can keep it 15 days, you can keep it 1 month, depending upon the project, but it is not fixed, so never, so keep on revising it. Keep revising. Stakeholder register, keep revising. I hope it is clear. While all the other, let me repeat that because it's an important concept. Let's take something else. We discussed scope, we discussed time, cost. They are all fixed. Quality is also fixed. Resource, you have limited. Communication, procurement, but stakeholder is not fixed. Not fixed. But let me take a new page. Stakeholder is not fixed or freezed, uh, plus it is a live document. So you need to take care of the stakeholders well and keep on revising, keep revisiting or revising your stakeholder register. Last comes the integration. Your job as a project manager, as a PM, is to integrate. Integrate, this is a symbol of integration. If you recall from class 12th mathematics, integrate scope, time, cost, quality, resource, communication, risk, procurement, stakeholder, scope, time, cost, quality, resource, communication, risk, procurement, stakeholder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10th is this, which is integration. Your job is to integrate these factors well in PM lifecycle, which is initiating, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, closure. Yes. You have to manage these constraints in each life cycle, in each phase of the life cycle. So this is one fundamental concept of project management. I will record. I will stop the session now, and we will catch up sometime soon, considering or I will explain some other new concept. Thank you.